Take a few seconds. Yeah, it started on my end. It's slow. It takes a while. Huh? I was going to use that whiteboard or those flip papers, but heck, I don't know if I want to now. I like just talking straight off the top like this. It's good? Shh. All right, let's go back to what we were talking about. Let's talk about, well, gee, I'm torn. We can talk about press releases, which I do. We will talk about. And we can talk about this new thing we're doing on Facebook here. We will talk about both of them, but what would you rather hear before lunch? Press releases or the Facebook thing? Well, you will hear both.
I'd like to hear some sales from Amazon.
Some what?
I would like to hear about some sales from Amazon.
Sales from Amazon on your product?
He had the first sales on Amazon on his product.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's talk about press releases. What's the easiest way to get ranked on the first page of Amazon? Specifically. Here's what Amazon wants. Smart as the day is long. I want you to imagine, let's look at it from another angle. What's the easiest way to get ranked on Google in the first page? What does Google want you to do so that will rank you first? No, none of those things. What is Google's primary purpose in their search engine? What makes their customers happy? Relevance. So they want for a keyword term when you type in the search that the #1 result be the perfect thing that you're looking for. The quicker they can give you the information that you so desire, the better the customer experience that they can provide for you, correct? So they are a broker of information. Amazon has no such desire to give you information. What does Amazon want you to do when you do a search? Buy. They want your money, okay? And by the way, who makes more money, Google or Amazon? It's a good question. I don't know the answer. I was hoping somebody knew. I would bet a steak dinner that Amazon makes more money than Google does. But I don't know. It'd be very interesting for us to find out. But regardless, Amazon is the #1 e-commerce platform on the planet, which, by the way, would not be a bad thing if I built a company like that. I'll take that. And so they want people that come to them and do a search to buy products. And specifically, they want them to buy the products as fast as humanly possible with as little resistance as possible. So unlike Google, who it's incredibly complicated to figure out relevancy. Imagine all the metrics that go into determining what is relevant, right? I mean, when the search engines first started, you could type in the word fork, and it could mean a dining fork or a fork in the road, right? The syntax wasn't even down. You know how many years it took them just to discover syntax? And of course, every time opportunists come along and try to manipulate the system too, right? So you have to deal with that in addition to figuring out the artificial intelligence involved. Now, imagine tracking relevance. How hard is it to track profit? Infinitely easier. Now, there are some subtle factors that can determine total profit that a lot of people don't know how to calculate. A lot of businesses don't, and Amazon's very good at it, but it's pretty obvious. If this person does this search result and this makes them the most money, we should probably keep this #1. If they're searching and #1 ain't holding its weight, we'll slap them. We'll drop them down, right? Has nothing to do with an unnatural link farm. It has nothing to do with the fact that the age of the listing, right? Has nothing to do with all this crap that we use to determine relevancy. It has to do with, are people going to this listing from the search engine and are they buying it? If they are, it gets a promotion. If they aren't, it gets a demotion. Okay? So, and this is very important that we all understand this point, because I noticed this in our Facebook group. I posted a screenshot the other day. By the way, it looked really good, super deceiving, right? And I qualified it, but it says, you have sold $800 worth of product from the screenshot on Amazon Seller Central. That's the sales price if we would have sold it at our normal price. We created a dollar coupon, okay? We created a dollar coupon, and we sold every one of our products at a loss. It basically cost us around $9 or $10 to fulfill our product. So every sale we made, we lost $8 on that sale, right? And it was done intentionally. And the whole reason why is because we are showing Amazon, when people come via a search for this keyword phrase to our listing, they buy. So Amazon's willing to bump us up, and that's how we went from page 11 to page 5 virtually overnight, very quickly. And I have the sneaking suspicion that they tail. They're not very real-timey. I have a sneaking suspicion doing nothing effort we'll be on the 3rd page or the 2nd page by next week. I don't know, though. We'll find out, and I'll let you know as well. But the whole purpose of them is to show Amazon, and this is a very trackable measurement, how many people come to the listing versus how many people buy. And by the way, if you're on page 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 20, 25, 30, and you get 1 or 2 sales, that's pretty quick to bump up the rankings. If you sit down with your son, your daughter, your friend, your family member, your cousin, your long-lost uncle, and you say, let's sit down on your computer, not my computer, because Amazon will know, right? And let's sit down on your computer, let's type into Amazon my keyword phrase, and let's go page, 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 and then buy this product at $1, by the way. And if they're a Prime member, an Amazon Prime member, free shipping, right? You just got a conversion from a search engine result. Does that make sense? They typed in the thing in the search, they found your listing in the search, and they bought, and you have a conversion ratio of 1 for 1. Maybe 1 for 2, because I'm sure if you found your own search and clicked on your own link from your search, which I do not recommend you ever do, by the way, because that can affect your conversion rating, right? But if you have a 1 for 1, Amazon says, okay, maybe it was a fluke, but I'm sure we're going to bump you up a little bit. That's the theory. That's the concept behind the whole Amazon selling, the amazing selling machine, right? Is that fact. So if I'm going to create press releases, that's what I want to accomplish. Now here's the beautiful thing. Remember when I talked about reason why copy earlier? If you give somebody a reason why, it makes sense, even if the reason isn't that powerful. If you don't give them a reason why, even if it's completely legitimate, they are very skeptical. So when we write a press release, this is my types of press releases that I use, and we do the same thing on Facebook. I'll cover that later. It basically says XYZ company is so excited to announce this product name here that we're celebrating by giving our customers a coupon to buy it for $1. So the reason why it's $1 is because you're celebrating that your product just got listed on Amazon. I mean, this is totally transparent selling, my favorite type of selling, because I don't have to get creative, right? I got this product that I just listed on Amazon. I am so happy I'm going to give it away to the first 50 people for $1, right? And I don't know the coupons. Will knows that. What can you set the parameters of the coupon up for, Will?
There are a ton of things that you can set. Like, for example, one of the things is, can the same customer use it multiple times?
Which we set to
right?
no.
We set it to no.
One time.
One time. Can coupons be combined? There's an exclusivity setting. So if you provide 2 different coupons, can they tie them together, or can they only use one at a time? There is a time frame that the coupon is good for.
But not
there
a quantity. Can
like,
you do quantity?
You can do. I don't remember if you can do a maximum quantity or not. I don't remember seeing it because we weren't setting it that way.
Yeah.
You can do. There's just all kinds of things that you can think of that you can do with coupons. You can do it on Amazon. It is not very straightforward. It really isn't very straightforward, because you can't even pick a product specifically when you create the coupon. You have to create this search that will lead to your product. We probably should do a little video on that. Next time we do it, I'll do a video on it or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you create this coupon for $1, and you can set it for a certain time frame. And maybe a quantity. Ideally, you can set it for a quantity, because then you can do marketing of, hey, only for the next 49 people, right?
Yeah, you don't even set the price of the coupon. That's kind of misleading too. Is you tell it how much % off or how much dollar amount off. So, for example, our product sells for $30, so I had to say it's $29 off.
Right.
Which leads to $1.
Yes. Perfect. And then, of course, the way the coupon code works is when they go to the listing, it'll still say 29 whatever the price point is, 19.95, 49.95, and only when they click Add to Cart and then go to that checkout thing where it says select your terms of payment, select where you want to ship it to, then there's this little tiny box that says apply promo coupon code, right? And only then when they apply it does it reflect in the shopping cart, which is not very easy for an end user, right? So you have to walk them through this whole damn process. So you have to say, step one, ideally find us in the search results in Amazon. You got to walk them through that. Step two, once you find us, click it even though it says $20.15. And then step three, put the promo code in here. Very complicated.
How many of you have set up a coupon?
Not very easy,
just a few of you. Okay. Yeah, the other thing is when you're setting up the coupon, you have an option as to whether it shows up on your product listing page or not, that there's a special offer going on. In our case, we chose not to display anything about the coupon on that page because we actually got some full price sales while we had this offer going on. And so those people had no idea that there was a special offer happening.
Yeah, so it's a good choice for you to decide, depending on your circumstances, what of those that you want to do. You don't. Yes, I will get to that. Kind of.
Can I stop you there for just 1 second? This is for your benefit also, not just for the people watching the stream. Let me get you the microphone before questions, because when you watch the recording, you're going to get to hear your own questions.
So is the press release, are you just going to walk through the steps then, basically?
No, you guys are getting ahead of me. Let me break it down. The press, okay, so we'll step back, and this is what I was setting up for anyway, so we're perfectly on the outline I have in my head for this module here. A press release is not a sales letter, okay, nor is it an article, right? What is a press release supposed to be? News. And what is news, for the most part, supposed to be? Well, new, right? It's supposed to be factually based, right? I mean, there's the op-ed piece, but that's a very small part of the newspaper. But if you open it up, does anybody have a newspaper right on hand with them right now? Cool. All right, so if we open this up and we look at the front thing here, Bull Run gets solid footing. And nice pun, by the way. They get a little sophisticated here. But then they break it down and they talk about the dizzying 2013 stock market rally was reignited Tuesday by multi-year high-ends in home prices and consumer confidence, a sign the bull run reflecting blah, 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 right? All fact. Boring, actually, if you ask me. But it's very dry, isn't it? So the purpose of the news, the press release, is to be very much like something you would read in a newspaper, right? Your job is to help people who have to congregate and spread the news. Your job is to help them do it easier. So instead of them finding the hot news story, you give them the hot news story. That's the old school press release. The new school press release is, instead of me having to create my own content to try to make money through AdSense and other measures, I want to take your content and slap it on my website, you know, and in return I'll let you put a couple links in there. And it's the same thing. You won't get approved for a press release in any good source if it comes across as anything other than completely factual. So what's the best types of facts to use? Quotes. Because now you're quoting your opinion, but since it's a quote, it is a factual quote, if that makes sense. And if you read any news article, including the one I was talking about there, I guarantee you there's quotes from experts, right? So there will be quotes from the owner, potentially. Or in this case, like if you're selling in a market, like we've created this fictional character for the market that we sell in, that she is the company name. So just like you buy Sara Lee syrup, I hate to break it, but there is no such thing as Sara Lee. She does not exist, right? Okay, well, it's so funny when you have a character like this because you start referring to her that way. You're like, oh man, Sarah's having a special sale today, right? It becomes like a living being. It's really cool. But the whole point is you can put the spokesperson, which can be an alias for your company, quoting them related to what goes on or what just happened or this and that. That's how you can do a lot of fact. Disguised as fact, so to speak, right? The other thing, of course, is statistics. Statistics work out very well. So if you can lead with certain specific statistics related to certain news items. What I love to do, does anybody here use Google to search for specifically news items? As a salesperson, that is a gold mine for me. Whenever I'm sitting down to write email copy, whenever I'm sitting down to create webinar presentations, like I'll give you an example. We did the Emperor Social promotion the other week. And what I did before preparing that presentation on Facebook is I went to Google, typed in Facebook, and clicked on sort by news, right? And I'm seeing the latest news stories that it aggregates for me. So when I want to write a press release, I go to google.com. I type in my main keyword phrase, whatever my product is, you know, silicone spatula, right? That's the favorite one. And I click on submit, and then I see the latest news results. My favorite thing to do is, because we want to put the new in news, is to tie that in. So I start maybe a news press release with some of this factual information and then tie that into, that's why at our company we're so excited to announce we have this new product, a new product announcement. Okay, great, fantastic. And to celebrate this new product announcement, we're even doing this thing to give it away. This is how I like to frame it. Give it some personality. We've made it a scavenger hunt, you know, for you to find this special thing. And that precipitates it gets them ready to search, right? I'm not going to be able to in a press release, nor is it in the essence of a press release to describe to them how to find this product, how to buy it, how to apply the Q component. I'm not going to be able to do that, am I? I'm going to be factual, newsworthy, and really end it with, we're celebrating this whole new special thing with this scavenger hunt, this online scavenger hunt. And that's the quote from the spokesperson. And for more information, click here, okay? And at the same time, we want to put a link back to our main website too, which might be nothing more than a pop-up that takes them to the site that we told them to click here, right? Doesn't that make sense? Okay? But the whole point of this is I'm going to put an in-between page between Amazon and myself via the press release, right? The page I take them to is going to be very specific on what they need to do. Now, if you have a graphic designer, like we talked about last time, make them do it almost in an infographic style. Everything's a graphical representation. So step one in a graphic, go to Amazon and type this in, right? And you'll have a screenshot of it typed in. Step number two, and you explain to them, once you go, you show like a screenshot of them, click next page until you find this result. And you have your result, taking a screenshot of it, right? And then step number three, click this button and then put this code in right here directly, right? And then you push, and then you walk them through, and then you make it, you say, okay, are you ready? Click here to start, right? So your in-between page is that page that is very specific. The more specific, the better, okay? It is a marvel to me, okay? You would assume that most people who are smart enough to create an Amazon account and attach some sort of payment form to it have some intelligence, okay? But you would be surprised at how few of them exist in the wild, right? They will mess things up unless you explain it to them like they're 5 years old almost. And that's okay, okay? Because you don't want to make them work hard for it anyway. I mean, you are as clear as possible, and ideally, I prefer to do images, okay? You can also do video, but then you're going to want to probably get a spokesperson and write a script and blah, blah, blah. Video might be a little bit better, but that's the ideal that we sacrifice. The real world thing is screenshots in a program like Snagit with little arrows pointing to stuff and little headlines above or below it. If you don't know how to design that, hire somebody. Odesk can do it, and ideally it's the same graphic designer you have. But you want to walk them through the process super duper step by step. And with that said, we still had people writing into us. How do I redeem this coupon code? And you don't want to come back to them and say, look at the thing I just showed you, You have to explain it to them again in a slightly different way, And occasionally you might have to do all sorts of other things. But if you're very direct with the description, like if I show a screenshot of Amazon's homepage with my keyword phrase typed into the front there and an arrow pointing to it and another arrow saying, now click go on this thing, right? It's less likely somebody's going to type my brand in to find it, They're just going to follow directions. which is kind of cool in this scenario. They just kind of follow directions on what you tell them, as long as you make it simple for them to follow directions. And you frame it, one of the ways, like I said, I like to frame it as a scavenger hunt, because then it becomes fun. It's a reason why I'm making you do this. No, I'm not making you do this because I'm trying to rank higher in Amazon and make a whole bunch more money, you know? I'm doing this as a scavenger hunt. That's the reason why I'm giving you. Otherwise, it's super duper weird. Isn't it? Why wouldn't I just link to the damn listing? But I don't want you to think that, so I distract you. I tell you because we're doing a scavenger hunt. The other thing you could, the other thing you can do too is say, you know, and it'd be really nice of you, because I'm so nice to you, to give you this $1 coupon if you would write me a review, right? Now this is the seedy world of marketing. I don't really like it, but it's true, and heck, far be it for me to try to change the way that the world works. Is if somebody got a $1 coupon for you, do you think they're in a little bit better frame of mind to write you a good review than somebody who didn't, you know? The expectation that they have going in is much less than somebody who paid full price, so it's much more likely for you to get a positive review, you know, without violating any of Amazon's terms of service. People are just going to predispose to like the product more because they got such a good deal. The better the deal they get, the better the review they usually leave. So you can double dip there. And then, of course, you want to follow up with them and use the email automated system that Matt and Jason have in the members area to get those reviews. But that's the final step, is to also, don't make it mandatory, but just kind of put that little nudge in there. Because our primary objective is to increase our conversion based on search results to get ranked higher in the search engine. Our secondary objective would be nice if we also got reviews from them, and we will get reviews from them. Because if you move 20, 30, 40, 50 units this way, you'll get a review or two, you know? I hate that too.
Okay, so just to make sure we're clear on this, then in your press release, the link you're giving them is to an intermediate page that they go to, where you're going to give them instructions about how to do the search sequence.
Yes.
And then there's going to be a link, I take it, on that page that they click that will take them. Where is it going to take them? Because you don't want to take them
Amazon.com.
Just to Amazon.com.
Yep.
All right. Okay, thank you.
It's very convoluted, and it's so funny because we have to remember here, we're making them work hard because we're selling the damn product for $1, you know? If I was actually selling this at full price, I wouldn't want to do any of those things, because all of those things would wreck my sell, you know? The call to action was delayed from the press release to the final thing. If I really want to sell products, I'm going to drop them right straight into that Amazon listing, you know? But because our first goal is not to sell product, but to get ranked higher in the search engines, we make them jump through hoops.
You'd add it to the cart for them if you could.
Yeah, you know, if I'm really selling this, I would love to do it on checkout, already be loaded in. They only have to click one button to purchase, right? I want them as far along as possible. But because our primary goal here is not to make money on our first few sales, it's to increase our search rankings in Amazon, because that's the difference, right? If we don't get on that first page, we're going to make some money potentially, right? But if we get on that first page, we're talking 500-600 units a day, retirement money, you know? And so we're willing to sacrifice, I don't know, $50, $100, $200, $300 in net losses up front, because otherwise we're going to still have to do work, right, to get the conversion up. And I guarantee you it will cost you more in time and money anyway to improve those conversions. And this doubles also because we can get reviews this way. And frankly, it also helps with the advertising too, because once we get the reviews and get some activity. Now, keep this in mind. When your press release is over, it's not like it just disappears from the internet forever, right? When it's over, you might want to go back to that in-between page and just forward it then to Amazon using like Easy Redirect Script or something like that, or any tool that you can use to forward it. Or you can change it and collect an opt-in instead. Say, hey, you missed this deal, but don't miss the next one. Sign up for our email list, and we'll keep you in the loop on everything, right? So when the press release is done, it's still valuable to have the press release sitting out there, because you will get clicks. I had a press release when I used to run my music business. I mean, it was the greatest press release in the world. It was, you know, Monk runs a hip-hop company, you know? It's such a great press release. I had thousands of results from that thing. To this day, I occasionally get people that I look at in my web stats, Jason Fladlin, from years ago, from a press release that I ran. So you will still get traffic. So that's how you double dip. It's good marketing. And when people are over with they're going to know your product. They're going to be excited, so you can still capture the lead and do other things to them. But yeah, I mean, that's my goal, at least, specifically with this press release. Now, keep in mind, the structure is the structure is the structure, right? Anytime you have something cool, it's unfortunate that press releases don't really work at internet marketing that effectively because there's no major news outlets that need to cover them, you know. It's all, everybody reads them like, it's just another hype angle, you know. But there's a lot of niches where press releases are super powerful. Anytime something happens, there should be a press release on it. You know, so it's like you're announcing because you basically you got the new images of your product shots. Press release, right? And you could work out a deal on that press release. This is the image special offer, right? $10 off coupon, $5 off coupon, limited time. Everybody loves a sale for a limited time if it has a reason why. So you might, for example, redesign your label. That's a press release, right? You might, for example, have your first customer. That's a press release. We just sold our first thing on Amazon. Anything factual that you can link to is a great press release. I'll tell you one of the most powerful ones to do is do a small poll. If you have a Facebook following or if you have any reach at all whatsoever, ask 25 people to respond to this yes/no question. And then write a press release about it. We recently found over here at XYZ Company that 60% of our audience owns more than 2 pets, right? Because of this new fact that we discovered, we are going to give this special discount, buy one, get one free, which I don't think you can do on Amazon, but you get my point, right? Because most people have more than 1 pet, you know, yada, yada, yada. It's a news item. Now, we synthesize the news ourselves, right? If there's no news happening, we created our own news, right? But the whole point is we can do these and distribute these press releases. But there's nothing wrong with being a direct sales avenue from a press release. You always want it to be, here's the reason why we're so excited that this news event happened. And so we're doing this thing, and if you click on this link, you can see what it is.
And by the way, you can do the buy 2, get 1 free kind of thing. Oh yeah, with the coupons, you can specify the conditions. So if they have 3 of those in the cart and use the coupon, one of them reduces by X amount and so on.
That's cool. I didn't know that. Like I said, Will does all the coupon stuff. I concoct these ideas, and Will tells me usually they can't be done, and then occasionally one of them can be done, right? And then I share that with you. But that's the whole point of the press release. Now, press release typically is about 400 words, okay? And you try to do the whole news story: what, where, when, why, how. You know, you work those in. What is it about? Why are you doing this? How does this affect the audience, right? Where is this happening? And whatever the other one is that I didn't name. That's really all you do. And then you have contact information, too, that you put at the bottom. It obviously, Matt and Jason, they cover this in the ASM module, like the specific exact stuff. But press releases are some of the easiest things in the world to write. They're easier to me to write than articles are, because they don't have to be informative in the sense of, like, I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can lose 10 pounds in the next 12 days, right? That would be an article. And there's obviously a jump-off point. If you really like this information, then you should consider this product. That's how you do an article, right? A sales page would simply be, you know, former bodybuilder from Tahoma, Washington discovers a secret technique to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, that kind of stuff, right? A press release would not be any of those things. A press release would just be like, hey, we're celebrating that customer XYZ just sent us this testimonial, and we're so excited about it that we're going to give you this discount. You know, it's a news event. It's not an informative article. It's a breaking story.
Hey, Jason, a lot of people tend to think that press releases have to be something like so extraordinary that it needs to be newsworthy to be in, like, you know, on the 5 o'clock news or something. And a lot of people in this room, including myself, used to think that private labeling a product was this horrible big process, and you have to have a lot of money to do it. So just like we learned that private labeling really is a simple process, the whole thing about press releases, if you want to see it in action, go to Yahoo Finance and put in the stock symbol for any major company, you know, like Cisco, Microsoft, or whatever big companies, and just watch how many press releases they put out a day, and read the press releases. They're just factual, boring stuff. Oh, Cisco announced the intent to have this product come out in 2014.
Right. the intent.
I mean, those are the kinds of press releases that are going out. There's nothing very special about them.
We just attended a convention in Austin, Texas, and so we're writing about it, right?
So start reading some of those, and that's going to spark some ideas, and you're going to start knowing and realizing all of the things that happen on a day-to-day, like, oh, we just created a new label for our product. Hey, we have a sell for our product. Hey, our product just got listed on this place. Hey, so-and-so just quoted this about this product. And you can create press releases all day long and put them out there. I'll get the mic.
Oh, yeah. My sense of urgency is so great. I can't wait for the mic.
Just something else I do for my other existing businesses. I have Google Alerts set up for my main topics. And when somebody else has news, I write a press release with I call her my Betty Crocker, my persona,
that's genius.
Comment on it.
Yeah, and so like a practical example of that is like anytime an announcement, say for example, if you were a Facebook expert, anytime Facebook or anybody related to Facebook announced something new, you as the expert on Facebook would weigh in with what this means because of what just happened in Facebook, right? And you honestly, you could run 15, 20 press releases a day if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend you do that. There's a better strategy. He's going to get a workout.
Okay, so when
Closer. Hold it a little closer.
Okay. Sorry.
That's
all right,
okay.
so when you try to get people to search and find your product, okay, are you trying to get people to search for the broadest search term or for a more specific search term?
The one that's going to make me the most money. So the broader, the better in a sense, right?
Okay,
whatever our main keyword is that we did our initial research for, that's what I want to be number one for.
Okay, great. One more question.
Sure.
Okay, so with these press releases, okay, so you take these kind of trivial things that you can, call news events. Okay, they're really pretty. A lot of them are pretty trivial, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so now. So that makes sense, but how do you write 400 words on something so trivial? I mean, we have a new label, or we have a new picture or something, or we have a new review.
Yeah, it should just be dry and factual. This new label was made on 300 DPI, 3 layers, CM1. I'm not joking. Go to what Will is saying and read some of these press releases for swipe file, so to speak. You want to create a hook at the beginning. When we're so excited that we're, if you read on, we're going to talk to you about what we're doing to celebrate this thing. So then they're going to skim down to the bottom. They're not going to read that. It's just filler. You got to keep in mind, why would people want to publish these stupid little press releases that we're creating? Why? Free content on their website, so when people might use some of these weird keyword combinations that you worked into your press release, maybe somebody finds their site in Google, and then they get to their site, and maybe they click on an advertisement somewhere, and these guys make some money, right? They don't care what the quality of your press release is so much, as long as it meets some basic guidelines, because we use press release syndication, right? So we submit our press releases via the tool in Amazon, or in ASM, right? That'll syndicate our press releases. And then so that'll take it from a press release site and push it out there to all these different sites, which will then pick them up, and then they can republish them and yada, 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 right? And if you guys want to get fancy with it, you can write one press release and use their press release spinning tool that they have in Amazon, or the Amazing Selling Machine under their tools. And it will spin variations of the same press release. And you can push that out there, although I won't be doing that. I like to take a simpler approach. But yeah, that's what you basically do, is you feed these people what they want, which is more content for their website, and they're aggregating this content. It's not like they're actively looking for it. They're running these feeds that pick this content up and bring it in their site because they know this additional content can help them make money on their website. And then some of the visitors they get as a result of that, some of them will click your link, and some of them will hopefully, for them, click their advertisements, right? So this is the whole purpose of these press releases from their perspective. We're not trying to get published in the New York Times. We're not trying to get published anywhere. We're trying to get it picked up on as many websites as possible, that with the hope that something is going to catch and we're going to get some traffic that way. And we will, okay, because I'll tell you the strategy. Everybody who does a press release expects one press release to do like miracles, right? It very rarely happens that way. So now it gets really silly. Here's the real process. Your first press release is announcing that soon you will be writing a press release, basically, right? I learned this strategy a long time ago. That's why I was pleasantly surprised when Matt broke it down. So I didn't have to really break the whole thing down from the start. I used to work with one of the top press release guys in the country a long time ago when I wrote articles. And this is where I learned the strategy from. But you basically say, hey, we have something exciting coming along soon. On this day, we're going to announce it, so stay tuned, right? So your first, go ahead, Will.
Well, it may sound silly, but look at companies like Apple. They do it all the time. How many press releases do they put out, right? And how much media did they get, interest did they get for the day that they're going to announce their product, right? So we're talking about a much smaller scale here,
right?
But
same
and as silly as it sounds, it's the same concept.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's the whole point of that. So that creates buzz. The hope is, and occasionally this will happen depending on your news item. Somebody that is major will pick it up, potentially, if they see that. It'll catch their interest and they'll follow along, and you have the opportunity. And that happens. That does happen. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen and will happen if you do a lot of press releases, right? But you do that, and then you do the second press release, which is basically, hey, this is the announcement we told you about, right? And then you do the third press release a little bit later, explaining what has happened since the second press release that you put out there, right? So, for example, say the press release you do, 6 out of 11 people that clicked that link and went to your website and ended up purchasing the product. You could say, new promotion from XYZ company converted 66% of people, right? And this is what we did. And you explain, we released a press release that announced this, and because of that press release, this happened, right? I'm serious. It's crazy, right? And then you announce, when all the dust is settled, you announce the final results of what happened with that news item that you mentioned in the press release. It's a 4-step process. You'll want to revisit when the time is right. Matt breaks down the whole system in detail. And there's the software in the Amazing Selling Machine area, right, that does this as well and helps you automate a lot of this stuff. You'll want to revisit that when it's time for you to run your dollar campaigns and push this stuff out there. But this is the overall strategy. And one of the things that I don't think that they did a good enough job of is understanding why we're doing this. We are doing this to accelerate the number of people who buy our product through a search, right, to increase our ranking in the Amazon search engine. I mean, the alternative is to do what Wilson and I did. So we're like, man, I don't want to write press releases, right? Although we will. I'll use every tool at my disposal, but we want to get some action immediately. So here's what we did. So Wilson and I, we set up a little Facebook tab. And by the way, we asked Matt, did he ever reply to you on that, Will? So we asked Matt if he'd ever done this craziness that we just did. And he didn't reply to us because he's too cool for us. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure he's busy with this event. Here's what Will and I did. We said, my theory was, okay, what if we went direct to people? So here's what we did. In Facebook, and there's no way I can explain it to you in a way that you can get this step by step. So I'm going to explain the strategy involved. And I'll allow you to fill in the pieces. And of course, we can do so in the following weeks in our Facebook group, right? But basically, there's a couple ways to advertise in Facebook. And see, the sirens are coming because I'm about to reveal something amazing to you. They know, right? All right. Yeah. Okay. On Facebook, everybody thinks you can only advertise a certain way, which is basically those ads on the right-hand side, which are stupid and almost nobody clicks on, and they're horribly overpriced and they're hard to make money with. You log into your profile, and on the right-hand side, there's all these ads. Everybody knows what I'm talking about? Did you know that you can advertise directly to somebody's newsfeed? So when you log in and on your newsfeed where you look for your friends and stuff, there can be advertisements mixed in with that newsfeed. You don't see them often because not a lot of people know these exist. You will see them eventually, and you'll hate them when everybody does know they exist. Now here's what's cooler. Facebook has recently revamped their newsfeed to make these even more prominent, meaning 403 pixels by 403 pixels wide image. All we have to do, and you log into Facebook, and you log into this thing basically that they call the Power Editor. It's not your normal, you don't go to Facebook and you don't click on advertise or spread the word or whatever the heck it is. Heck, I don't even know how we get to the Power Editor, Will. Where do we go to the Power Editor? Pages? We go into our page that we set up, right, for the company. So like XYZ company, we set up a Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/pages. Click add a new page. And then inside pages, we click on something. But it's not in the normal way that you would run an ad. It's in a slightly different location. Like I said, don't worry, we'll document this process. It's so good that I have people that like set this up for me, and then I run. That's why I don't know this exactly. Were you going to add
Yeah,
something?
I honestly don't know it exactly either because we have an advertising account, so
Yeah.
we're not using our personal accounts, but we'll find out.
We have a business profile, which is a newer thing that Facebook has implemented. So it's not tied to a personal profile, although you could do the same thing with a personal profile. Because we have a business profile, it's slightly different for us. And don't ask me how we got this. We knew somebody who pulled some strings for us in Facebook to get it. Otherwise, you normally get it by spending a bunch of money with them, right? This is the whole, for for us, you would see like advertisement on our newsfeed, on our timeline, they call it, right? Which is kind of good and kind of bad. I mean, it's good because it's a powerful vehicle for us. It's bad because all it looks like we do is sell stuff all day long, which we do, right? Which is cool, But to the general Facebook person who just got to know our brand and all they come and see advertisements, they're not going to exactly be excited to want to engage with us. When you run a dark post advertisement, it's a post like any other post on your Facebook page, only it never shows up anywhere on your Facebook page that the public can see, okay? But where does it show up? It's a post that shows up on the news feeds of people who you targeted. So you can target people. So say, for example, Jim's product here, he can go in there, and I wouldn't know specifically, but this is probably who I would target. I would target people between the ages of 45 and 64, right? Should we target just men or men and women? Should we target people who are married or single? But we definitely will target people who have dogs, who are interested in dogs, right? We can do that. We can even target people based on all kinds of what they call like broad interest or something goofy like that. But I could target people between a certain demographic who are married, who have an interest in dogs. And how does Facebook know that? Because they like the page on dogs, right? There's other things too as well. You can target certain pages depending on how big they are. You could target people who have liked that particular brand of dog food, right? You can do all kinds of stuff. That's my point. And now you can run a Facebook post that will show up on these people's news feeds that basically has a big fat picture of a dog who's freaked out, right? And Facebook, on the other hand, where Amazon is so lax on their image guidelines, Facebook is so insanely stringent on their guidelines. Facebook doesn't want anything that has more than 20% of text. Although I've had text that has taken up less than 2% of the area and they flagged it and they shut it down, right? So you don't want to put much text on the page. Maybe like, Fido's scared, ? That's about all you can fit on there. But you'll have this big image and you'll have a post description. And you just write it just like any status update or anything else that you would write. And you would just basically say, next time it storms, don't let your dog go berserk. Get this thing, and best of all, get it for $1, right? We're running the special $1 offer. Click here for more information. So we are advertising on Facebook news feeds for the people, the demographics that we've selected. And we are having a 403 by 403 image and a little description. And by the way, you want to put the call to action in very close to the top because Facebook will always have that read more thing, and it will cut off that link if you put it too far at the bottom. So it's usually a 2-sentence little blurb, very short copy, call to action to the thing with the fact of $1, that it's $1 plus potentially free shipping if they're a Amazon Prime member, right? We take them from that. In this particular case, you don't have to do this. I prefer to do this because I can see the long-term benefits, and we have software that can do this. We take them from that advertisement. When they click on that link, where do we take them? We take them to our Facebook fan page, specifically the tab. We've built this fan page tab that does the same thing as that in-between page did for our news or for our press release. Does that make sense? Where we say, hey, thanks for checking us out on Facebook. here's this thing to get this for $1, and we break it down and we do the exact same thing, right? I created this really cool, it looked like a flyer, right, Will? I mean, it looked really nice. And it was just basically like, go here, do this thing, click this, and the whole image was clickable. It made the whole image clickable. And we sold, what was it, 46 units?
Yeah, we sold 47 units total. We started the ad on Saturday, which is actually a very bad time, I think, for us to have started because of the holiday weekend. By the way, we're only targeting people in the U.S., which you can do that in Facebook as well, right? So we target people in the U.S. because we're only selling on Amazon.com. And we sold about 24 units Saturday afternoon, Sunday, and Monday. And then yesterday we sold, we doubled that. We sold like 20-some, whatever the rest was. So by mid-afternoon yesterday, we had run out of our inventory of 50 units.
Yeah, which it happened faster than I thought it would, because we went from selling 25 units in 3 days to selling basically 25 units in 1 day. Yeah. In the first ad that I ran, they declined it because I had like an image that they said was against their terms of service. So what I've learned is if you want to do this, and you should run 5 ads at the same time, and as soon as you find out they're approved, you can pause 4 of them and keep 1 running, right? But don't just set up 1 ad, set up 5 ad variations, and then once they approve certain ones, you can pause them, and then you can unpause them anytime you want, but you can have 1 running. So like the first ad that we ran wasn't that good. Wilk went back in and ran another ad. But there's a couple ways that you can do this. So you're talking about how much does this cost, right? You can either do it, there's 3 ways technically. There's CPC, which is cost per click. There's CPM, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. And then there's optimized CPM, which is cost per impressions with some magical Facebook intelligence mixed in. I don't know. All I know is like our editor, or our ad person, she just said to us, just do optimized CPM, which I was like, I would rather do cost per click because I don't care if people click on this link or not. You know, I only want people who buy this to click on this thing. I don't want to get as many clicks as possible. I want to, in a sense, bury the click and make it harder, make them work harder to get the click. So the person who's going to do it is going to jump through all my hoops. It's going to lower my ad costs. But she says, just trust me, run this optimized CPM. And it's great because then you don't have to set a price or anything. You just check a box. Optimized CPM, done, right? And it runs this ad. And we were paying basically, when it was all said and done, if you looked at how much it cost us versus how many clicks we had, we ended up paying about, what, 70 cents a click, Will?
On average, right around there, yeah.
And then the conversion, roughly, which we couldn't track exactly, but the number of clicks that turned into a number of $1 buyers.
About 25%.
25%. So then when you really start doing the math, it was costing us about $1.15 in overhead to generate 1 sale, right?
Yeah, probably a little more than that, about $1.50 or so.
Whatever, right? So we were paying about $1 to $2, $1.50 to accelerate the process of somebody purchasing our product through the search trick that we talked about in a sense earlier, right?
Yeah, so the total amount is, I know it costs us about, all of the ad that we spent on that product was about $115, $120, something around there. Right. And of course, we sold all of the product at a loss, right? Yes. And we had spent about $500 in product, plus all the shipping, labels, and some other additional costs. So we had about $600 in products. So it cost us a total of about $750 to run out of inventory the first time around. Right. But so far, that has gotten us from page 17, 18, 20, whatever it is, to page 5, right? And like Jason said, we strongly believe that they lag quite a bit behind.
Yeah, I don't know.
on the results issue.
It's an experiment.
We will see. Here. I expect that within the next couple of days, I would not be surprised if we're on page 2 or 3.
I wouldn't either, but you know, weirder things have happened. But the whole point is, I could have done this organically and moved all these things based on what Matt and Jason said, and how much time would I spend into it. Maybe it would make sense for you to bootstrap it up and do it that way. With Will and I, we're behind. We're in the fortunate position where time is usually way more important to us than money is. So for me to spend a couple $100, and you don't have to do 50, you could do 5 or 10, you know. And frankly, we did not optimize it. I just threw it up there because we did it on a Saturday, right? We just did it as fast as we humanly could to see what would happen. So there's a million ways you could reduce the costs. There's a million ways you can improve upon the process that we did. But the whole point of this is, instead of waiting to sell out the inventory or to move that many units over like a 4-week period with a whole bunch of effort, we did it for a little bit of money, and we moved the whole thing out. Now, frankly, I still don't know if that was the smartest thing to do or not, right? But I will tell you once I do know what happened there.
That goes to my question. So what happens now? You're on page 2 or 3, but you're out of inventory for 2 weeks.
Well, see, and this is a mistake, right? I did not expect us to move 25 units in a single day. And so Amazon, it is known, or it seems to be, like Matt, I've heard Matt say this before, you will take a small dip in your ranking when you're out of stock. So try not to be out of stock. But when you're first starting out, he has said specifically, I've heard him say this, it's not that big of a deal to run out of stock. If anything, it's an indicator that, damn, this new product hit the market and the demand for it was huge, you know? And so that's a press release. We are so excited. We couldn't believe this thing exceeded our expectations, you know?
We're out of stock, and we'll be restocking on such and such date. By the way, interesting thing, I went to a product page last night because I was double checking that I actually did turn off the Facebook ads and so on. And on our product page, we're completely out of stock. Amazon says, back in stock on May 31st. Order now. I have not told them I'm going to send stock. I haven't printed any FBA labels or anything else
Amazon
like that.
likes what's going on here.
Amazon decided that it's going to be back in stock on May 31st. How interesting is that?
Far be it from me to disagree with them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Julie, can you get Julie the microphone? And then I'm going to show you, then I'm going to explain how we can make money in the short term too, so don't let me forget.
I just have to ask you something about that, because we have this absolutely horrendous message on our detail page because we ran out of stock, and they say, this product is out of stock. We don't know when or if we'll ever have it again, or something like that. It's terrible. I've called them like 3 times asking, isn't there some way that we could put a message there saying when this product will be back in stock? And the first time someone told me, yeah, if you just ship it, then that will put a message. No, it didn't. We shipped it. No such message.
Okay.
So we called back again, and the next person said, no. And I said, look, this is a horrible message. Do you take suggestions from customers? Oh, yes, of course.
We take them and throw them away, yeah.
But I mean, it's like they want to drive people away.
So have you gotten it off your page yet?
No.
Have they inspected everything with your new stock shipment that you sent in?
It hasn't arrived yet.
Yeah,
No,
so that's the
it hasn't
problem.
arrived, but how about yours? They put it up there for no reason.
And welcome to the world of big business.
You'll never know. Honestly, you never know. We're experimenting with some other things related to rankings, right? And we don't know if that's going to work or not. We don't know if this dollar thing is going to actually drive up the rankings, because, as Jason said, Amazon wants to make money, right? They're not making money when we sell for $1. Our fees are very, very low. They're not taking the usual fees, so we're like way in the hole. They're taking 15% of that $1, right? And they're taking, whatever small other fees they have to take. But so they're not making money. Now, according to Matt and the training in ASM, that still helps rankings. So we're trusting that it does. We're testing it.
Yeah.
There are a few other things that we're testing. We're not 100% sure. Nobody knows what the Google algorithm is, but these SEOs test stuff and they try things, and if they see results, they extrapolate that into, hey, it works. Why did they say our product is going to be back on May 31st? Probably, I would imagine, because they saw a very big spike of sales in the next few days, in the next
it was very
last,
quick.
in the recent times, and they want to continue to get those sales or try to get those sales.
So my question to you was, A, how did you sell out so fast? Or did you just not have a big quantity?
In that case, we didn't have very good quantity.
So it was mainly friends and family who purchased? Is that how you did it?
It was all Amazon purchases. It was all completely independent purchases.
How did you do that, by the way? Was it advertisement? Was it just...
No, we did no advertisement.
You got to hold your mic up closer.
I'm sorry. No advertisement. It was just reviews. It was just 3 product reviews on the page. Friend and family reviews.
Cool.
That, we did.
So you're in a good position. I mean, and I know it sucks that it says out of stock and all this crap, but the fact is, to me, I would be excited if I were you. of the potential here to take it to the next level once you get more in. Yeah, I hear
How
you.
many units did you have to start with? How many units for this one product? How many units did you sell out? So that could have been the problem too. We had 50 units
and was
there.
it in the United States or was it in China? U.S. Okay. So I mean, there's a million factors. The category you are may be determined, and the reality of it is Amazon is just like any real business. They're constantly expanding while simultaneously trying to sustain. And I tell you, as somebody who does that on a frequent basis, there's always fragmentations of things that don't work as they're supposed to work because you're constantly expanding while you're trying to sustain what you have. And so it could just be an idiosyncrasy that happens to you because you're on an IP address in this location and I'm on an IP address in this location, you know?
And they could be testing, and like he said, the message that I got may have been just to me. And if you go look at my product, it may say that it's out of stock and we don't know when. They could be testing.
It's like, why does the sun rise in the east? I don't know. I don't spend much time on that. We just try to get the stock back in there as fast. And I'm not trying to be facetious or anything. We're just trying to get the stock back in there as fast as possible and move forward. But I'd be very excited if I put that up there. You've made more money than we have, you know?
Anybody who made $1 has made more money than we have.
Woo! But here's the cool thing. We're your guinea pigs because this is the twist, okay? So I'm thinking to myself, because I can't let it rest. Anytime I see the negative number, I've been born that you never take a business in debt. A lot of businesses do that, you know. I have to figure out a way to make this business solvent as soon as possible. So I start thinking to myself, now, use this at your own risk. Let me preface this, and it's not exactly clear what is and isn't allowed, okay? But there's this thing in Facebook called custom audiences. And a custom audience works like this. By the way, we did this with every Rapid Crush customer. We took every customer and we exported their email and their phone number that we had, and we dumped them into Facebook. And Facebook analyzed them and matched them up to user profiles because Facebook has your name and your phone number probably, right? And then when they were done, they gave us this list that said, hey, here's all your customer profiles on Facebook, right? And I said, nice, you know? And I started running these dark posts to every customer of Rapid Crush to show up on your news feed. Basically, because we could go even granular. We said, who doesn't own product E-Class of all of our customers that we cross-reference on Facebook? And let's serve up ads specifically for product E-Class just to these customers of Rapid Crush. This is my custom audience. If I wanted to, I could combine two things. I can combine my custom audience with only people that exist in the United States, right? And you could filter it many layers further. So if you step back, Amazon, and you know this because you've made a sell, Amazon gives you a full customer record, basically. And most importantly, they give you a phone number, at least for our category of the people who purchased. I'm not saying you could do this, but somebody might want to take those phone numbers, dump them into Facebook's custom audience, of course with permission and all that stuff, right? And create a custom audience and write an ad that would go, oh, I don't know, something like this. You recently purchased this product from me for $1. Did you like it? If so, I would love to win you over as a lifetime customer, so I have a coupon for you. It's not as good as $1, but it's half off or whatever, right? And that shows up on their newsfeed. Now, granted, I'm still not making the full take-home of what I would if we made a full sale, right? But if I can make a couple bucks per sale on that, I'm very interested in doing that. And who better to target than somebody who just bought my product? So that's the first immediate thing that leapt out to me. Now here's the beauty of this, and this is where I'm going next with this. You can then take all those customers who buy, and then Facebook, there's this other thing called, they call it one of two different things. They're either called a lookalike audience or a similar audience. And what Facebook will do with their computational data approach is they'll say, let me analyze every factor I can on all these people's Facebook profiles that you created a custom audience to, right? And let me see if there's any other people out there that are very similar to them in interest, age, education, income, location, et cetera, right? And then it takes a while. It takes them a couple days to generate this list for you. And then once they do, now you have a whole set of customers or potential customers who are the most ideal people who are most likely to purchase from you. So then again, you can run all types of advertisements to those people on Facebook. So my goal, this was not my goal going in, okay? My goal was to, probably for the reason everybody here bought. I don't want to work that hard on this business. I want to get it ranked #1 and sit back and cash all the checks, you know? Of course, once I get into this thing, I can't let it lie. I got to get in and tinker with it and mess around with it and think about it day and night and obsess over it, right? And my goal is to say, what if we never got ranked on the first page of Amazon? How could I still make a massive amount of money with this thing? And that's what we're currently working on, is to take these $1 customers. Granted, our primary goal is to help us increase in the rankings. But if that doesn't happen, how can I still make this lemon into lemonade? And this is one example, one of many, which, by the way, after this event is over, our group is not dead by any means. I am going to continue to mess with these things until I find something that works. The worst thing that I could do, though, is go to these people in a custom audience and say, you should leave a review on Amazon, you know? Or I could say, hey, if you like this, tell a friend, right? I could get them on Facebook to talk about this and then bring their friends. Now, here's the most beautiful thing of all. We're still creating engagement on Facebook. The reason I prefer to take them when I'm advertising on Facebook to a Facebook fan page tab, right? We don't tell them to like the page, but guess how many people start liking the page? A lot. We don't tell them to comment on the post, but a lot of people do. We don't tell them to do anything other than buy this product for $1, but you would be amazed. We have people send us direct messages. We had a lady send us a message because she couldn't figure out how to take advantage of the coupon code. And then, and this is all, I don't believe any of it till it happens, and she says, oh my God, if this stuff really works, I can send a whole bunch of business your way, you know? So there's potential there to say, is this person real? I could look at her profile, and it just so happens she owns a tanning salon in, you know, Montgomery, Alabama, right? Interesting, you know? And then you start looking at, there was other people, this one lady says, it would take, it related to the product, it would take a lot of this product for it to work for me, which was really funny. But then I started laughing because I'm like, that's a hell of a good headline, you know? I could work on this thing. If you think it would take a whole bunch for this because you have so much acne, say this was an acne product, right? If you think it would take gallons of this acne bottle to fix you, then I would like to put you to the test because I think I can accomplish it with this much instead. And to prove it, I'm willing to give you this discounted offer if you buy within this date, et cetera, right? So my mind starts thinking, if we eliminated the Facebook's, if we eliminated the Amazon search results completely, and that was not part of the factor, and we were selling it like a regular product, we are still at an advantage over other stuff because we don't have to fulfill it. We get free shipping for Prime members, right? We get the brand of Amazon behind us. And what better thing to advertise in Facebook? I advertise an info product from Rapid Crush Inc. to an audience that doesn't know who I am. They don't care, you know? I look just like any other doofus internet marketer out there. They don't know we're the only good ones, right? But you advertise a product on Amazon, that's a whole different experience to these people. So that's the thing that we're going to play with. Now, if you want to dive in with us, you can, although tread lightly. Me dropping $700, $800 isn't going to make much difference in the amount of sleep I get at night. It might for you, which it would be silly then for you to do so. Do so the old-fashioned way with press releases and other potential options. But know that this is the kind of stuff we're working on to try to crack the code because, again, and this goes far for any business, I can't just do things the way that everybody else does them. I have to take it apart and find the angle, find the thing in between, find what's not being shown, find a new way to do something. I'm wired that way. I've been that way since birth. Find that contrarian approach because that's how real breakthroughs happen. So we could do it the slow way, or in this case, if you want to spend some money, and this is honestly just a speculation, this is how we accelerated this. But from where I'm looking at it, which is why I'm sharing it here with you today, where I'm looking at it is the worst thing that's happened is we got a bunch of likes, we got a bunch of engagement on Facebook, we have people that we can now, that's a custom audience in its own right. We have all those Facebook IDs that we can build an audience where we can advertise to people who've only liked this page, right? Or advertise specifically to people who've done this thing. And now there's a huge opportunity to augment this. And then, of course, if we start selling full-priced or near full-priced Amazon stuff, will that increase our ranking? The worst it'll do is get us more reviews, right? Because now, you know how Facebook doesn't like you following up in their email system? They didn't say a damn thing about Facebook. Amazon. Amazon doesn't want you to, like we wanted, we had a customer buy at full price. Don't ask me how it happened, okay? It just did. It was cool. Yeah. Can you turn your thing down a little bit, Will? Not your mic, but your headphones or something on there? I'm getting an echo somewhere on that thing. Just turn down your input volume. Yeah, there you go. All right. So yeah, the first day we listed, or the first few days, we get the sale, and I'm telling Will, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Full price, and not only that, we made money on the shipping because they overnighted it. They overnighted this thing in Amazon. They either did not give the normal fee that they normally do with shipping, right? Whatever the case was, what did we take home in net profit on that thing? Well, something ridiculous. $20 on a $30 sale. 66% profit. I'm like, oh my God. That's amazing to me, because if I sell a product in Rapid Crush, immediately I get 50% away to the affiliates, you know? I'm already making more on a sale, right? And then the merchant account fees kick in and everything else, and I'm flipping out here. Like, this is awesome. It can't be true. It can't be true. It can't be true. It was true, because it took a day or two in true Amazon lagging fashion. We get the whole customer record. And it just so happened this person had a very unique name. And I just so happened to type that name into Google and start digging around and seeing who the hell this person was, right? Like a stalker. And I find their Pinterest pin boards, and I find their Facebook profiles and all this stuff. And this is not because my initial inclination was a competitor. Somebody goes and scours every new listing and they buy the product to do competitive research, right? No, this was a real legitimate person. Crazy, right? Which is like amazing to me. So here's what I want to do. I want to go into Amazon, and because you can connect with the customer through the Amazon like proxy email system, and send them and say, hey, thank you for your purchase. It's mainly used to be like, hey, how can I be of any assistance to you? Did you get the product? I mean, they lay out the terms. I wanted to say thank you for buying. If you buy again, I'll let you have it at half price, right? I guarantee you I would have made that sale, and I would have took half price of $20 on a $29 item, right? But you can't do that. Amazon does not let you do that, right? They do not let you do any marketing to customers directly like that in the Amazon email system. However, if I first got that customer or that person or interacted with them on Facebook, there's nothing saying that I can't go to Facebook and click message this person and contact them there, right? To me, that's the real power of doing it on Facebook. You could do, now the real synthesis is when we start combining press releases and Facebook together. But that'll be a whole different training that I'll have to do in the future. But yeah, that's the whole thing of where we're at in our business, and we'll fill you in. So any questions related to that? I'm sure there's a million, right? Julie?
Sorry. I guess the main question I want to ask, since this is getting technical about all this Facebook stuff, and we're way behind on Facebook, are you going to give instructions for this dark, post business and all that?
Absolutely. And I told you I'm going to give you the strategy today, and we will give you the instructions in the future. Here's the problem. Facebook's damn interface freaking changes almost constantly, and just like Amazon, this is so cutting edge new, it's like half broken, right? So I'm going to tell you now, just to preface this, do not expect a pleasant experience when you go and set this up. The way that I reframe that in my mind to slog through this damn thing is, because it's such a pain in the ass, almost nobody's willing to do it. So therefore, free clicks, really cheap traffic, more money for me, right? You'll have to play some sort of mind trick on yourself to go through it. But we will break down specifically how to do this. And we'll break down specifically, this is where you go, this is how you load it up for us. Honestly, I don't know how to do this. Every time I have to go in there and relearn it, because it's not intuitive at all.
Yeah, it's so painful. I had to recreate the ad because our original ad wasn't doing so well, so I wanted to play with some metrics and some different demographics. And I spent 3 hours trying to post this thing and copy, paste, and post, and it kept giving me this error. And what it was something silly where when you're creating this dark post, it asks you for the language and it asks you for the country.
Yeah.
And I kept putting them both in, English, U.S., and United States, and I kept getting this error, and the error is so cryptic. It was something about privacy.
I know exactly what you're
And
talking about.
finally, I don't know if I watched something or read something somewhere, and I couldn't find anything on Google about this error. I had to take out the language setting. I couldn't put that it was English. Just leave that blank. And then it worked. I spent 3 hours trying to submit this. So I'm like, okay, so they're looking at the the wording that I'm using or the
I have
image
the same
isn't
issue.
right, and so it's a very, very like
Yeah.
Jason said, broken kind of interface. But you know, people won't figure this out. If we will,
Yeah,
we're
because
gonna do it. We're gonna make money.
I had a custom audience for a different project because all I'm doing these days is like Facebook custom stuff. The opportunity is so amazing. Nobody's doing this. It's huge. So we took all of our top affiliates who promote Rapid Crush products, created a custom list, and I was targeting ads just to them on Facebook, right? And because all of my affiliates all across the world, I didn't know what countries they were in. So I tried to turn off all countries in Facebook to run this, and Facebook doesn't let you do that. You got to specify one country, blah, blah, blah. But after you make the mistake once you understand the rules of what you can and can't do, then it's really easy. We're still working through those, but we will document this process. I'm just giving you a taste of the potential of what to come for you to think about. The worst case scenario, you just do press releases exactly like Matt and Jason say, and that's fine. And then once we iron this whole damn thing out, even if it works at the level I think it will, or I'm very sure it will, then we'll break down specifically how to do this. Because we have a vested interest in honestly taking our customers to the next level compared to everybody else. Because I'm sure, I don't know for a fact, but if he ever sells this thing again in the future, we want to be his #1 affiliate again. So use the group because we will break down exactly what we're talking about today. And by the way, this isn't the only idea that I have. There's other things we haven't put into motion yet that I'm also going to be sharing within the group. I'm more excited about Amazon than like Rapid Crush, to be honest with you at this point. Because Rapid Crush is very easy for me in a sense. It's very methodical of what I do. This is a new challenge. So there you have it. Click. All right, so I think we're going to take a break for lunch.
How long of a break should we have?
Let's
we're
just
probably
do an
going to
hour
run
and a half.
an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So we'll get back here at